storm raged outside, lightning splitting the night sky, thunder rattling the old farmhouse where David had taken refuge. He'd been on the road all day, but now, with the rain pounding and the winds howling, he was stranded in the middle of nowhere. No cell service, no nearby towns, just endless fields of dark, wet soil stretching out into the abyss. The house looked abandoned when he arrived, windows boarded up, the door barely hanging on its hinges, but the warmth inside suggested someone had been here recently. The smell of food lingered in the air, and faint traces of a fire still crackled in the hearth. He made himself comfortable by the fire, hoping to ride out the storm. But the longer he sat, the more uneasy he felt. There was something wrong about this place. The shadows seemed to move unnaturally, and every now and then he swore he heard soft footsteps above him, slow and deliberate. Probably just the wind, he muttered, shaking his head, but the footsteps didn't stop. By midnight, David couldn't ignore it any longer. The house was silent now, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him. He cautiously stood, stepping into the hallway. The floorboards creaked under his weight, echoing through the empty house. The upstairs was completely dark, save for the faintest light creeping from under a door at the end of the hall. As he approached the door, his breath caught in his throat. He could hear whispering, faint at first, then growing louder, as if a conversation was taking place on the other side. But there was no one here, no one alive, anyway. He grabbed the doorknob, his fingers trembling. Just as he turned it, the whispering stopped, replaced by a deep, guttural growl that sent a cold shiver down his spine. He yanked the door open, but no one was there, except for the room. The walls were covered in strange symbols, drawn in what looked like dried blood. In the center of the room, a large wooden box sat on the floor, its lid cracked open. David couldn't help himself. He stepped inside and knelt beside the box. The air grew colder as he peered inside, his heart racing, and then he saw it. Pale, lifeless hands, curled and twitching, as if trying to claw their way out. Before he could react, a voice, low and breathy, whispered in his ear, "You shouldn't have opened it." David spun around, but the room was empty. The growl from earlier was now a guttural scream, echoing through the walls. The box rattled violently, as if something was struggling to break free. The whispers, now hundreds of them, filled the room, each one more frantic than the last. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind him, and the shadows in the corners of the room began to move, twisting into shapes that made no sense, stretching and writhing. David tried to escape, but the room seemed to close in on him. The walls pressed in, the air thick with the scent of decay, and something far worse. The last thing he saw, before everything went black, were those hands, growing, reaching, pulling him down into the darkness, where the whispers would never stop. When the storm finally cleared, the farmhouse was silent once more. The door was wide open, but there was no sign of David, no trace that anyone had ever been there, just the echoes of whispers, fading into the night. And the box, it was gone.